So, as I nom on some chips and salsa, as per standard, we will continue, and we'll make another character. In fact, you know, after last night, because we can only make the one, due to whatever issues were going on with Twitch, maybe because of the holiday and everyone's streaming Halloween stuff, we might even be able to catch up and make, and so that by the end of the night, we'll have our 4 characters, right? We already have 2. We're going to make one now, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So we have our handy dandy guide out, and let's roll a percentile to find out if we have a female, a male, or a multi-class character, in which case we'd roll again. 95, we have a multi-class character, everyone, who is a female. A female what? 8, Half-Orc. And it's not a sub-race, but what we do for these humanoid variants, I guess like human variants or derivatives, is I roll odds or evens to see if they resemble in mannerism and or looks more like one half or the other. In this case, I rolled odd, and so she favors her human side. And that could be a look, so maybe she doesn't have the gray skin of an orc, or the kind of piggish nose. Or maybe that's the only feature, really, is that she looks human aside from maybe her height and weight, and her slightly upturned nose or some larger teeth, but that's really it. There's not a mechanical benefit, but I think it can do a lot to act as a tiebreaker in personality, or help us come up with her backstory. Nadpoo says, would you be okay with taking a look at that map I made and give any critiques or advice on it during the stream? I can do that, Nadpoo. I saw that you posted it, and I did reply to you that depending... what I would really need is... I need to know what you're trying to go for. Because just looking at a map, that map can exist. I don't see why it couldn't. But if the, you know, and I'll be like, oh, so, you know, it's really like, you know, it looks like there's really just a port and a storm. Like, everything's a wasteland except the southwest corner. And your intention was to go, no, that's actually, you know, acres and miles and whatever of fertile farmland. And I'm like, oh, I just saw it as open brown territory. I thought it was just sort of wasteland. Obviously, then, we had a difference of opinion. Spicy, oh my gosh, it's great to be back. Thank you for noticing us, Spicy Larry. And welcome back. I don't know if I said this, Spicy. I hope you had an awesome summer. And whatever you're up to here now in the fall, I hope you're having fun. Are you back doing classes? Or I hope that you're finding happiness and success, Spicy. It's great to have you back here. I'm half-orc, my bottom half. I'm half-orc by weight. Maybe mostly human pigmented skin, except for some kind of distinct spots. Yeah. It could be whatever we'd want it to be. But yeah, Nadpoo, I need to know what you're trying to go for first before I can really give you meaningful critique. You know, it's just like showing someone a painting you made, and you're like, how do you like it? What are you going for? I could tell you, wow, it really looks like your painting was just printed out on a dot matrix printer, and you're like, well, it was pointillism, what do you want? And I'm like, oh, you meant to do that. And then it's awkward, right? Because I'm like, it looks like you didn't do a good job. Meanwhile, you did exactly 100% what you were supposed to have done. Hi, Brawl Player. Welcome. You're going to your first internship this spring? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for wishing us well in return. It's great to have you back here and back to class as well. As much as you can stop in and say hi, you know we're here for some fun and entertainment, Spicy Larry. So, Spicy Larry, Cheers to you with some very good salsa. It's a nice medium heat hatch pepper salsa. It's good stuff, Nadpoo. Alright, let's roll her alignment on 2 percentiles. 39.59. That is a neutral good character. Hope to stop by more often now that I've polished off some early projects. Yeah. And, oh, Larry, if you need help, let us know again. Because I remember we were able to help you out by filling out that survey. So if you need help with your classes and such, let me know, okay? And now let's find out at which level we're going to generate this character. 2. Alright, so this is going to be a level 4 character. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Derek, you posted some good stuff about that. Oh, and Nadpoo Fluffy Sheep does bring up something. What's the scale? I mean, is this Australia? Is this or are we looking at are we looking at another kind of island, like a smaller island, like one of our Lake Erie islands? Or are we looking at like it's something like the size of Ohio that's in the middle of the ocean? Or something like the size of Alaska? Why are you at home, bro player? Are you okay? And I'm glad that turned out excellent, Larry. I'm happy that we were able to help out with that. Spicy Larry is not spicy enough to give the red dragon a hot mouth. You'll have to crank up the heat, Spicy. That red dragon can take the heat. Rolling a percentile. At 40, we're taking the stat bump at 4 instead of a feat. And now, 1d13 to determine what her background is. And 13, she is an urchin. With 2 personality traits. Well, 3 and 3. For purposes of what we're doing here, I want to mix it up. There we go. 3 and 2. And an ideal bond and flaw of 5, 4, and 3. These are just placeholders, and we'll come back and fill in what it means. He was ready for the spice. Yes, he was, Spicy Larry. Res, please. Oh, a female dwarf cleric. That's a really solid choice, Spicy. End of the quarter, so the teachers have to prepare for quarter 2. Oh, gotcha. It's a working day? Yeah, I think our local schools had one of those today. Or this week, I should say. And randomly, it was on a Tuesday. I saw a bunch of young students just like, out playing soccer, football, and whatever. I'm like, what are they doing out in the middle of the day on a Tuesday? That makes no sense. And I guess it was an in-service day. There's no special origins or what type of an urchin are you? I think the book just presumes that there's a lot of orphans in the world. We can use it as a prompt. You don't have to have been an orphan per se, but it's not like there's a chart for specialty urchins. Okay, now let's roll. Remember, she's multi-classed, and so we're going to roll twice. The first roll is going to be whatever her primary, or I guess we could say like a dominant her class will be. 12, a wizard. So she is a combination wizard and a wizard paladin. Interesting stuff. A wizard paladin. Let's see, wizards get their schools at 2nd level, but paladins... Paladins get their oath at 3rd. Maybe we can bump this up just a little bit to get a nice experiment in. And show what happens then. If we go... How do I want to do this? Yeah, maybe they never took their oath. So we could go, we could just go 2 and 2, or we can go 3 and 1. I don't know, 2 and 2 might be good. That way you get your school, but you also get, you know, you're on the verge of being a, you're on the verge of being a, you know, of taking your oath. Then in that case, as a wizard, we are going for Divination. And for a paladin, let's roll a d3. While we aren't taking it yet, she is on the path of being an oath. Or I'm sorry, a devotion oath. Div and dev. Divination and devotion. You know, so she's kind of like a, she's kind of like the football player of the wizard school, right? She went to wizard school on a sports scholarship. There's a lot of orphans in the world because there's a lot of adventures in D&D. Oh, boy, Derek. Oh yeah, Alexander. That could be too. You know, we could make things a lot. I mean, when you're making a rough draft of a map, you know, get ideas, right? Plot what you want things to be or do in some capacity. Okay. Next up, as a half-orc, we start at 4'10". We add 2d10 inches. We're adding 18 inches. So we are 4'28", which is 6'4". We are tall. We're going to take that same 18, multiply it by 2d6. 7. 6, so 126. 266 pounds. She is a big girl. And lastly, let's find out how old she is. Percentile. 78 is going to put her at middle-aged. And for a half-orc, right, middle-aged is column 4 here. We come over between 41 and 55 years old. So I'm going to make a 15-sided die and roll it. We got the 15, so she is a 55. She's 55 years old, and so here we can ask some fun questions, right? At 55, you know, what's prompting her to go out? Maybe she learned to be a wizard first, or if you want to reverse it, you know, maybe she had this intrinsic ability in her, and here she is in midlife. Her children have grown up. If she has children, and she's kind of going back to school. She wants to learn some wizardry for whatever reason. And so we have this multi-class character that's a wizard and paladin. An interesting mix, isn't it? All right, we don't need our random number generator anymore. Let's put it away and dip into a background. Urchin is all the way in the back, and so she grew up. It's been a hard life for her, right? Her skill proficiencies are sleight of hand and stealth. She has tool proficiencies with a disguise kit, you know, because she's favoring her human half. Maybe with a disguise kit, she can actually get away at looking fully human. And thieves' tools. Hey, she might get along with our locksmith that we just made, too. Equipment. A small knife. Now, that could be something like a little pocket knife. If you talk to your DM might say, yeah, we'll count that as a dagger. You know, or is it a letter opener or something? You know, talk with your DM about it. And see what she or he is willing to do for that. Small knife. Map of the city that you grew up in. Some kind of a pet. It offers a mouse, but maybe it's something else. A token to remember your parents by. I like rolling this as a trinket, because trinkets can do some really fun things to a story. Maybe not mechanically, but to the story, trinkets are really, really good. A set of common clothes. And a belt pouch containing 10 gapuz. Welcome back, Bro Player. Hey, One Crit Wonder. Thank you very much for that host. Although hopefully you're not caught in ad limbo as I'm saying thank you. I'll have to wait till you say something, I guess. Hey, Newer Realms, welcome. Good to see you. Hey, you know, bro player, you gotta space it out. You can't just eat it all at once. Savor it and make it last. And Coffee Cat is here too. Welcome. Alright, our feature is City Secrets. It kind of makes us a ranger in an urban environment. We can get around a lot easier. Lots of, I mean, especially for an urban campaign, it's really, really good. If you aren't in an urban campaign, I think you can still translate some of these skills, maybe to the wilds or to other cities you've met or that you've gone to. You know, maybe in a region, most of the cities are planned out this similarly, kind of how with Roman expansionism, how Roman colonies were all set up the same to allow for ease of travel of the citizenry so that they know where the different public services and such are. Yes, that's right, Neo. You were talking about that, because you're doing the keto diet, right? Makoki, welcome. It's good to see you. Cheers. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Well, hey, we're making characters. You know, we have some good background music going here. Relax, have fun, and I hope you can get a good night's sleep. Pardon me. Okay, so to continue, let's fill out her personality. What kind of a personality would she have? Right, we have this middle-aged half-orc who is a wizard and paladin. Interesting. She's going to be split between 3 stats. Oh, doing the thing? Yeah. Don't... There's a point, though, Coffee Cat. Stop picking at it. Just stop picking at it. Alright, so personality trait number 3. I like to squeeze into small places where no one else can get to me. And number 2... I ask a lot of questions. Well, you know what? You're a divination wizard. I think you'll find your answers. I do it for everything, I swear. Her ideal is number 5. People. I help the people who help me. That's what keeps us alive. I think that makes sense for being a divination wizard and a devotion oath paladin. Right now, this is all... I don't think we need to really do a ton of mental gymnastics at this point. Her bond is number 4. I owe a debt I can never repay to the person who took pity on me. Devotion. Hello. Oh, this is beautiful. This is working out so well. And how many of you would have been... Oh, really? A half-orc wizard paladin? That's dumb. That's lame. That's not... What good combos can you get out of that? Let's find out, right? This is an awesome challenge for us to think. And her personality is just saying she needs to exist. She exists. She's here for a reason. And her flaw is number 3. I will never fully trust anyone other than myself. So her devotion oath could even be to herself. You know, she feels such, this sense that it empowers her, and it's manifesting maybe through her wizardly teachings. It's allowing her to pursue this path and to use her natural strengths. There's that too. Oh, Bro Player, you're playing D&D at your house tomorrow? That's awesome. Bro Player, I forget, do you play with your family, or do you invite over friends? Hi, Forsaken. Welcome. Oh, and Lieutenant Virus is here, too. Wizard was first, Virus. We rolled a Divination Wizard and then a Devotion Paladin for our multi-class character. Friends and family. That's great, Bro Player. And remember, too, she's middle-aged. And so the multi-classing could come from that, right? Maybe, you know, she grew up as an urchin, and maybe some wizards took her in and said, you know what, you know, clean our tower, you know, we'll give you a bit of an education. And, you know, so she went up to be a second-level wizard, right? She was taught the basics of divination by that point. And so maybe she had worked for them, and there was a point where maybe something happened to one of the wizards that took her in. Maybe he was killed or something, and she was just filled with this righteous justice. And she realized through divination, you know, she needs to grow her powers more. But also, there's just some things that maybe magic can't detect, because you know what? You can detect a lot with magic, and you can also block detection with magic as well. So maybe this character said, there's just some things you have to do yourself. And so with this determination, she owes this debt to this kindly wizard that took her in from the streets, you know, gave her an education and employment. And so, you know, she was always very physical, right? And so she is now she's learning to use her own physical gifts in addition to what she was taught. And here we go. I think that would be an excellent backstory, but you know what? If you have something different, put it right over here. I'll happily consider other circumstances that you put out there. This is just what's coming to my mind, and I'm definitely not the only person with a brain here in chat. That's kind of what I'm thinking. He's going next. Lore Bard gets magical secrets next level. I miss playing D&D. Hey, Frolicking Llama. It's been a few months since I last played. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that it's been a little while for you. Do you normally play heads up with friends and family, or do you play on a virtual tabletop? All right, let's take a look at what Half-Orc gets. Well, for virtue of being a Half-Orc here. Our strength increases by 2, so we'll put that there to float, and then con goes up by 1. Forsaken says, ideas on a turtle barbarian. Are you looking for help in our workshop on Discord, or what are you looking for, Forsaken? It's just stop getting hit so much. If only, you know, if only it was that easy, right? Llama says, roll 20 since our DM lives in a different state. Well, you know, I hope you all can get together and do and get your game restarted again, Llama. I very much can understand that frustration. But I'm happy that you're here, and I know that we're running a workshop primarily. We do play on Tuesdays if you wanted to watch a session. We had a very good spooky Halloween episode. That was like a one-shot for each of the characters. If you wanted to watch it as well. But you know you're welcome to hang out. And hey, it is Boy Howdy Yeehaw. Yeah, it has been a long time. Where have you been, mister? Mister, I reckon it's been a while. But welcome back. And yes, that owlbear. Oh my gosh. And I love it. I love that owlbear. Your DM just got married, so once it settles down... Oh, gotcha. Yep. Gotcha. I mean, it's better than, you know, oh, the band broke up and you know, we're just never going to play together. Let's see. Our speed is 30 feet, giving us a climb of 15, swim of 15, and a fly of 0. We do have dark vision out to 60 feet. We're menacing. We have proficiency with the intimidation skill. Relentless endurance. When you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. It's a focus sash. Right? And savage attacks. When you score a critical hit with a melee weapon attack, you can roll one of the weapon's damage dice in an additional time and add it to the extra damage on the critical hit. And we can speak, read, and write Common and Orcish, or Orc. Boy Howdy says, a family member has been very sick, so I've just had my priorities elsewhere. Well, I mean, as much as I was razzing you, it is very important, and if you're stepping up for that family member, Boy Howdy Yeehaw, then you are doing what you need to do. That's, you know, you can't take care of others if you can't take care of yourself in this case. Or, you know, in this case, it's your family and your personal affairs. As much as possible, I try to be here and be consistent. So whenever you know, you all have life circumstances that occur. And when you have the opportunity to come back and spend some time, let's do so.
Because you mean Whiskers, Pull and Cunning.
Oh, Derek. Well, a beautiful German accent. Because I'm mean, vicious, cruel, and cunning. So are we? Is that what you're labeling your boxes? Mean and vicious is Monster Menagerie 2, and then cruel and cunning is your 2 boxes of Tyranny of Dragons. I think we can. I think we can work on that. And thank you for salvaging my Halloween week. You're very welcome. I'm glad that we were able to give you something really fun and positive, Derek. Oh, labeling. Oh, gotcha. Right. The text-to-speech is super quiet. Okay, so there's definitely something going on with there's something going on then with my sounds. I don't know. I turned up my desktop volume, which could have been it, but I also don't want the music to be overbearing. So let me know, does the music sound good now? Like, can you still hear my voice set apart from the background music? But yeah, you know what, Boy Howdy? We're here, and anytime you want to hang out, you can come see us. We're here for you. Yeah, Makoki, I haven't heard that for a while, a focus sash. And really, isn't that what it is? Isn't that what that ability is? Brawl Plier, yeah, Owl and Bear, yep, that's, I love that emote. It's kind of loud now. Alright, I'll have to try, alright. I've split the difference now. I hope that works. Hey, Raikon, welcome. It's good to see you. We are making a random character. You know, so yeah, I could try that. I'll turn my desktop audio up, but I can try turning down the music a little bit more. So let me know how this sounds to you. If it's like some nice gentle background music going. Like some music, a little bit of like conversation, like we're hanging out together in a restaurant eating. Because who does that? Who just hangs out with people and eats in front of them, right? This guy. Alright, so we have our focus sash, we have our savage attacks, and our languages. Now, it's time to get into multi-classing. And to do that, it's not difficult. It can sound difficult to do. It isn't really. And in fact, we're going to make our wizard first. We're going to make our 2 levels of wizard. So right up here, bada boom, this is what we're going to get. Now, our spell slots are going to be a little bit different because of our multi-classing. So I'm not going to worry about that, but we're still going to know our 3 cantrips. 1, 2, and 3. We are going to have a plus, we're 4th level, so that's still a +2 proficiency bonus. Because your proficiency is based on your character level, not your class level. Remember that. Alright, so we have 2 levels of wizard, so we have 2 D6 hit dice. And here, I'll show you on this sheet. You see right up here, and you see how there's 2. And this is great because we're going to put our Paladin hit dice on the other side. So anyway, there's our 2d6 for being a 2nd level wizard. We are not proficient with armor. Weapons. We have some very select weapons. I mean, if you want to abbreviate it and just say like wizard's weapons, or if you want to list them all out, you can, but it is a very select list. And we get no tool proficiencies. Our saving throws are intelligence and wisdom. And then we can choose 2 skills from Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, and Religion. So if we grew up on the streets, right? We are taught stealth and sleight of hand by being an urchin. And we take a look at, if we take a look here, I ask a lot of questions. I help people who help me. Though she'll never fully trust anyone other than herself, and I owe a debt I can never repay to a person who took pity on me. So that person, as we've been fleshing out her backstory, has been someone who introduced her to a wizard's tower or a school or something like that. And you know, in exchange for providing, you know, maybe some cleaning services, or as I said, maybe she got like an athletic scholarship to the wizard school here. You know, so she was taught a couple, you know, a couple spells, introduced to divination magic, and there you go. So with this personality and with her story, I think that the skills she'd pick up would be something along those lines, right? If she was offered this education, you know, she was taught these things. A part of me wants to say that it would be something like Arcana, and maybe because she's so good at city navigation. You know, that was her. That was sort of like bleeding from her background into her class. Maybe investigation can work. So she was taught magical secrets of Arcana, but she also is good at piecing some things together with investigation. Yep, an athletic scholarship to a wizard school. I mean, hey, right? How else do we get a divination wizard and a devotion paladin multi-class character? Coffee, you say investigation's a definite? Yeah, there. All right, then. Makoki had asked prior, have any tips on a college bard build? Doing a hand crossbow with him. Well, I don't know, Coffee Cat, if that's something, because I know you're currently rocking a bard. You know, as tips for me, Makoki, I mean, if you take the crossbow expert feat, that can help out with some hand crossbows. You know, make sure you have the training for it. So if you go College of Valor, that'll help you be. Well, actually, I think just Bard might give you hand crossbow. hand crossbow proficiency. But if not, I mean, go College of Valor, and you could be like a battle bard if you'd like. But of course, if you go outside of the player's handbook, there are more options for you regarding colleges for your bard character. Devotionation. Ah, yes, the Baby Shark song. That's been quite popular lately. Okay, we will begin with a quarterstaff or a dagger. Let's see. If she was brought on to maybe like clean the halls and stuff, maybe she was practicing with a broom or a mop. Let's give her a quarterstaff. A component pouch or an arcane focus. She was probably given something like more simple. Like this is the badge that you wear of, you know, this is showing that you belong to us. So let's give her a we're gonna give her an arcane focus. A scholar's pack or an explorer's pack. I think she loves taking notes. Scholar's pack. And of course a spell book. Now, we're not going to worry about spell casting just yet. We'll get to it. With multiclassing, this is like the hardest thing you have to worry about, and it's not that hard. We are going to get Arcane Recovery, which will allow us to get back some of our energy, and then of course we will get our archetype at level 2. But as for a class, we're going to actually just put Wizard class here, and then Wizard archetype here, because then we have Paladin class. And we're not high enough yet to get our oath, so we won't have a Paladin archetype. But if we boosted this character up, then our feature sidebar here is really going to fill out. I think she should have found her way to the Paladin calling through her Divination. Yeah, it would be her calling, wouldn't it? Yeah, it could be something along those lines, or as we were throwing out there as a possible, right? She owed a debt to a wizard who took her in, you know, from the streets, gave her at least a decent education. Look, if you're a level 2 wizard, that puts you above a lot of people in the world. Something might have happened to this mentor, and then she said, you know, she tried to find him with divination magic. Maybe it was blocked, and she said, you know what? I have to do this myself. I can't just use magic. And so, you know, her devotion to this mentor is leading her on this path. You know, or you know, by way of magic or the inability to use magic to solve this problem, then you know, so we can kind of marry those ideas, Virus, if that sounds good to you as well. Oh, hey, Broplier, if you got to go to bed, man, you can always catch us on a VOD or watch this on YouTube later. Alright, so our Arcane Tradition, then, we went with Divination, and so we will be a Divination Savant, so we're given the basics and a discount at the school store for Divination spells, and we will be getting Portent. Portent would be really good for her being on the varsity sports team, wouldn't it? Yeah, it could also be, you know, it could be a religious school, or in this case, it would be like a private, whether it's religious or it's a secular private school, that could be the case too, Makoki. right, well, hey, Forsaken, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I still appreciate it. Did you get, did you beat your adventure? 14 with a oh, okay, nah. Well, still, Forsaken, it was great seeing you, and thank you for hanging out with us tonight. All right, Bro Plier, sleep well, have a good night. Okay, now, we have made a level 2 wizard with almost everything in place. There is now a... Oh, yeah, Derek, I've been reading that manga, and that's very interesting. I didn't know they made an anime out of it. I'll have to try and find it. This is where we're going to come down to Chapter 6. Okay? We have to meet some prerequisites, so we're going to keep this in mind when we finally distribute our ability scores. If you're multi-classing, you have to have the minimum 13 in your original class and in the class into which you're going to multi-class. Meaning, we're going to need at least a 13 in intelligence, in strength, and in charisma. We will be inheriting the hit dice of that class, and we'll get to that in just a little bit here. We will also be getting the a particular set of proficiencies from Paladin. Not all of them. You can't just easily go back and get the starting gear and everything that a Paladin gives you, including that nice level 1 full hit dice. Because you know what? You're not level 1. By this point, you're level 3, right? So we have 2 levels of Wizard, and then we're taking on a level of Paladin. But let's see what a Paladin gives us here. Light armor, medium armor, shields, simple weapons, and martial weapons. Ooh, as a Wizard, this is interesting, because since we're proficient with that armor, that means we can cast in it. Alright, so being a Paladin, that is going to give us... light and medium armor, as well as shields. However, keep in mind, unless you have the Warcaster feat or you worked out something with your DM, that may hinder. If you're holding a weapon and or a shield in your hands and you have a somatic component to your spell, that could spell trouble. And then we will know all simple and martial weapons. It's an interesting concept, boy howdy. Unless it's deviating from the manga, it's kind of an isekai, which is its own genre of anime, where it's sort of like fantasy alternative world, maybe like quasi fourth wall breaking, someone sucked into a video game style thing. And the very reduced concept is someone was hit by a truck, I believe, and he wakes up as a slime in a role-playing game. And he has to learn how to be a slime, eat things, almost like Kirby in Nintendo's title, right? You eat things and get powers. Hey, Delcorin, welcome. Okay, spellcasting. So you determine what spells you know and can prepare for each class individually. What that's going to mean... so we have a wizard here, which is spells prepared equals intelligence modifier plus your wizard level, okay? And then for a paladin, it's wisdom modifier plus half paladin level, if I recall correctly. And we'll make sure to look it up. But that's how we're going to determine that. So here we're going to have int and charisma that are split between the two. And we're also then going to have 2 saves, and we're going to have 2 attack bonuses. It's always Truck Coon's fault. Now, spell slots, we don't have to deal with Pact Magic, which is down here. But spell slots, this is where it can get, I don't know, a little as difficult as it may seem for multi-classing. You determine your available spell slots by adding together all your levels of your full caster classes, which is Wizard, and half your levels of Paladin. And so what we're going to do then is say... Use this total to determine the spell slots by consulting the multi-class spellcaster table. So we are then effectively a 3rd level caster despite being a 4th level character, right? We have 2 full levels of Wizard, and then we have half of Paladin, which is 2. So that would be 1. So we are going to have 4 first level slots and 2 second level slots available as a multi-classed character. 4 and 2. And then, of course, Wizard still gives us our 3 cantrips, which is nice because Paladins don't get cantrips normally. At least not by default. You could take feats that will open it up, or multi-class. And there we go. So with that, we can now bop over to Paladin. Here we go. Right, here's our 2 levels. Remember, we are already given our proficiencies, so we don't get this other stuff up here. And we don't get our starting equipment. But what we will get is Divine Sense, which is awesome for a Divination Wizard, right? It does, kind of as Lieutenant Virus was talking about, maybe by using her own strength combined with this unlocking mental ability of being a Divination Wizard, it is leading her on this path. I think it works out really, really well. So she's going to get Divine Sense. And she's also going to get Lay on Hands. As she's 2 levels of Paladin. In fact, we'll fill it in over here. Lay on Hands. She has 10 points of healing available to her. She's also going to get a fighting style at 2nd level. There are 4 different styles, and so let's go to it. Roll a d4. 3. Great weapon fighting. Ooh, wow. Huh. She can wield not just a quarterstaff, but maybe she's upgraded to something like a greatsword. A greatsword wielding wizard. How about that, huh? When you roll a 1 or a 2 on a damage die for an attack you make with a melee weapon you're wielding with 2 hands, that does count for a quarterstaff. You can 2-hand a quarterstaff, by the way. It doesn't just have to be a huge axe. She can actually use the mop or whatever she was doing as a, as sort of like a student athlete / employee of the wizard school. So versatile weapons and 2-handed weapons will work. That are melee. All right, we will get some spell casting here. Let's see. We have available. Choose a number of spells. Charisma modifier plus half your paladin level. So in this case, it's going to be int plus full wizard, and then charisma plus half paladin. But we can change our spells up because of the divine nature. Until we get our oath spells. Then those will be just sort of slotted in automatically. And we're also going to get Divine Smite. Which means we can burn. And by the way, as a paladin, we're getting more slots from wizard. We can burn one of our slots to smite someone. And so we're using our wizardly magic in a physical form. And I'm loving this concept. They can have the Moonlight Greatsword. Oh, thank you for filling that in, Trestaflump. And hey, Civil. Welcome. And hello, Victor. Age of Tesla, Greatsword Wizard. Is this character Pontiff Sullivan? I'm not familiar with that character, unfortunately, Age of Tesla. Can you fill me in on that? But also, welcome to the chat. And yeah, we're making a very interesting random... we rolled multi-class, and we went with Wizard Paladin, and she can give you some lumps. Yeah, I agree, Trestaflump. So we have Divine Smite, so we can burn our spell slots for physical power. And, well, ooh, we're just shy of getting Divine Health. Victor says, I noticed the subclass for Paladin I made doesn't have spell casting other than one healing spell. But hey, true zealots don't need magic. Amen and attack. So Victor, on that, remember that you're still getting everything you're getting from a Paladin if you're making an archetype. Also, on our Discord, if you could change back to what your Twitch handle is, that way it'll be easier for us to communicate too. Dark Souls 3 boss, sorcerer, dual-wielding greatswords. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Unfortunately, I haven't played that line of video games, so... Woo! Over my head. But yes, hello and welcome to our workshop. And hey, if you have any other commentary, suggestions, if you say, oh, you know what would really be a neat concept for this character, throw it out there. This isn't my character. I'm not here to just, you know, use a bully pulpit of the Twitch platform and my webcam to just say, oh, this is how you should play D&D 100% of the time. Wizard is the worst saves in my opinion because almost nothing requires int saves and wizards don't really put much into wisdom. Then again, if you need it, the wizard can have you covered. Alright, so we have our chassis. Now I think it's time to drop our engine into it, right? Remember, for what we're doing, and we're a level 4 character, but that does not give us an ability score improvement. Ability score improvements are tied to your class level. So we will not have the ability to bump something up. Meaning that we have to carefully choose what we want here, right? By using our standard array plus our racial bonuses. Because we need an intelligence, a charisma, and a strength, all that are 13 or higher, in order for us to qualify for this multi-class. So I think what we can do then is, let's see, she was definitely given an education. If we went with a 15 int, we could go 14 strength and 13 charisma. And so we qualify now for the multi-class. We could then go 12 wisdom, 10 con, and an 8 dex. I think that can work out. She may not have been the best thief as an urchin. Maybe that's how she got caught and was given a legitimate education somewhere. You know, to take her off the streets. Or, I mean, as the proficiency rises here, her sleight of hand and stealth will be okay. It's just she won't be the best at acrobatics or the saving throws that come along with it. I think that looks okay. Though, if you have other suggestions, please. You can offer them over here, and we can flop things around. But this will end up giving her a 16 strength. and an 11 con. There we go. And so that'll be a 3 strength, -1 dex, 0 con, 2 int, 1 wisdom, 1 charisma. So Age of Tesla, I missed some of the discussion about the background. Would an upper class student who got pulled into crime fit? It could in another circumstance. So what we had rolled is that she was an urchin. Because we're going through Tesla, we have a random character generating procedure here where we build a character 1 layer at a time, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then we're developing the character as we go along. And so the background comes out before the class, and of course we learned from a random roll that it was a multi-class character, and we rolled wizard first, and then so that was the primary. And then we rolled whatever the second class was, and we got Paladin. So as we're telling the story, dice roll by dice roll by dice roll by dice roll, we're finding a way, how would this character exist? And so she existed as an urchin on the streets. She was given in, and she was taken in by maybe a wizard tower or a wizard college or school. And she was given a bit of an education. We're kind of saying maybe she got a sports... maybe she got a sports scholarship to the wizard school here. And, look, again, being a second-level wizard puts you above a lot of other people in the world. So they gave her an education, and maybe she worked at this place for a good long while. Because she's middle-aged, right? She's 55. So she was taken in, and these wizards taught her some magic and gave her an education, brought her off the streets. And then something happened, right? In her personality that we rolled up, I owe a debt I can never repay to the person who took pity on me. And so we rolled randomly that she was a divination wizard. And through either her own physical prowess that was amplified by her divination powers, and or by the fact that she tried to find a mentor that was killed or died or went missing, and realized magic can't solve all the problems, I have to go out into the world and solve them. I lived on the streets, I survived, and you know what? I'm going to go find this person I owe a debt to. And so then a combination of her personal strength, resolve, or whatever, led her to then take up a paladin who will eventually end up in one other level on the Oath of Devotion. And because she's devoted to her people, her cause, and this kindness that was given to her, that she wants to repay back. I hope that makes sense in how we're building this character. This is now reminding me a lot about some other character. Oh, well, if you have stories of characters you've rolled or that you're familiar with, or even if they're from a video game also, Tesla, you're welcome to throw them over here in chat. All right, so with this, strength is 3 and 3. We have a -1. And then we're going to have a 1 sleight of hand and 1 stealth. 0 con. We have proficiency. That should be a 4, 4, 4 with a 2, 2, and 2. Wisdom is going to be 3 with 1s down the line. Hey, Viking, welcome. Charisma, 1, 1, 1, and 1 with our sole proficiency of intimidation, which is the racial part that we got, is going to be a 3. I'm liking this character, actually. I think she has an awesome story, and her, you know what, she's split between three stats. I think she can still function rather well. Passive perception is going to be 11 because that's 10 plus your perception modifier, and that measures your natural awareness of what's happening here. She has her quarterstaff that might be the old mop or broom that she used to clean the halls in the wizard tower that she's going out adventuring with. That maybe that's even, if we want to fluff it and just say that's her focus as well. Either for her paladin spells and or her magic, right? She has an interesting backstory. Solicit your DM for that kind of stuff. And you know what? If you have a cool story and it makes sense, your DM may very well say, "I like that idea. Yeah, let's roll with it." Viking, a promise I do believe. Can you remind me of that, Viking? If it's been a while, a week or two. So if you could drop a hint, I'd appreciate it. Oh, snap! Viking, thank you. Thank you for noticing us, senpai. New Zealand senpai. Oh, all right. Are you ready to calculate hit points on a multi-class character? Remember, at first level only, first character level only, you get your full hit points from your class. So for a wizard, because that's what we took first, it's going to be 6. Then I recommend going half plus 1 hit points for half plus 1 hit points when you advance. So as a wizard, that's going to be 4 hit points, right? Half of 6 is 3 plus 1. Then for Paladin, you do not get that first level bonus because we'd be level 3 by then, right? So we go 6 and then another 6 for our 2 levels of Paladin. Lastly, for all of your levels, all 4 of them, 4 times your Constitution modifier in bonus hit points. So that's going to be 0. So here we have 18 plus 4. We have 22 hit points as a level 4 character. Our initiative is going to be a -1 because initiative is a dexterity check. And our armor class, well, we can wear up to medium armor if if we wanted to here. So I don't know, maybe going a higher dex instead, maybe swap it with wisdom or something might be the wise thing to do. But I don't know, every character can have a flaw. We don't have to min-max everything. Let's enjoy her for what she is, right? She's kind of awkward, right? We have this middle age. She's probably a mom, is raising kids that maybe she's trying to save up and send to the wizard school herself. And so she might encounter this. In which case, if we give her, let's say we gave her medium armor, that does include dexterity with it. So if she was wearing scale mail, that would be 14 plus dex mod. In this case, it's minus. So she'd have an armor class of 13, and then if she's wielding a shield, it would go up to 15. But remember, any wizard stuff would have to be used with free hands, so she can't use her quarterstaff in both. If she was going to go shield, but she's a great weapon fighter, so maybe not. Paladins get heavy armor normally. If they multi-class, you only get up to medium armor. Nadpoo says, I'm going to make a mom character with nothing more than a wooden spoon and a furious rage for things left unclean. Peggy travels the land, punishing those who would make a mess. Or, depending on the region, and if it's culturally appropriate, Nadpoo, you can go around wielding a chancla. Hey, Daily, welcome. And I'm sorry, Sunshine Juju, welcome to our workshop and our conversation. Now that we have this, Nadpoo says the Shankla is too mighty for anyone mortal to wield. Right, Nadpoo? Unless you're a Boricua, right? then it's you have proficiency. I'm glad I'm amusing you, Nadpoo. All right, only a couple other options left. Number one, we need to give our character a name. It's no longer a set of stats. She's earned her identity. She's earned her name. So if you have a name for this character, then, you know, throw some out there. Our armor class is really going to be dependent on what we end up equipping her. She started out as a wizard, so by a starting package, she didn't get that. But by level 4, for whatever adventure, it's going to be weird to calculate her armor class, because she can wear some armor and a shield, but she's a great weapon fighter, but she's also a wizard who doesn't have Warcaster as a feat. Most mums here in New Zealand are proficient in Chancla combat. It's kind of a prerequisite in New Zealand culture to be able to give a good whack with one. Oh, really? So it's not just a South American thing. It's also it's traveled around the globe over to New Zealand as well. Nadpoo, you want to call her Rizgarou Orcenfoul. So where did explain the name? Where did this come from? What led to this name? Is this a name that she was given by the wizards that took her in? Was this actually just her name? Because remember, she was an urchin before this. Something tells you that everything is a Power Wolf reference, says Boy Howdy Yeehaw. So, I mean, for armor class, really, it's what are we wearing or using at the time? Now, for wizard spells, right, we come down here. We're a level 2 wizard with an intelligence modifier of 2. So that means that we can prepare 4 spells. As a paladin, we can prepare 2 spells. Half of our paladin level plus our charisma modifier. And we don't have our oath spells just yet, because we're only a level 2 paladin. Sunshine Juju saying Zamoga, Elder Scrolls reference from Mazoga the Orc. As I have not played that series of games, I'll have to take your word for it there. Goru, named by her orc parent, uses sounds because she has more strength than dex. Maybe Rosaria comes from one of the wizard's natives' tongues for Lost One or something. Orcenfoul was a name given by other students as a term of endearment that she just adopted. Astreus, yeah, go ahead and ask your question, Astreus. So I think we can take some of these concepts together. So why don't we do this? So she was born as Rizgarou Zamoga, but her name that people called her was her nickname was Orcenfoul. How about that? So our spellcasting ability, our save is going to be, well, let's see. Our attack bonus is going to be plus 4 and plus 3 respectively, and then our save DC is going to be 12 and 11 respectively. And then of course we'll get lay on hands, and we have 10 points there. As a wizard, so I would suggest you label your spells and where you get them, especially if you're multiclassed. we get 6 level 1 spells in our spell book for being a wizard. And then when we hit level 2, we'll get 2 more, presuming we didn't purchase or write any more in. As a paladin, we look here, and we would we already have our spell slots, so we can cast up to 2nd level spells. So it would really just be where you want to prepare it, because we don't have domain spells just yet. And so from the list of spells we know, we could prepare up to 4 different ones as a wizard. And then from all of the paladin, we could just drop in as level 1 or level 2 spells. We'll just drop in the 2 that we know on a daily basis. That can change. You play a rogue arcane trickster. Would multi-classing warlock pact of chain to use my familiar to sneak around and look ahead be better than going wizard school of divination with arcane eye? That's a complicated question. I don't immediately, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that, Astreus. I would need some time to sit down and take a look at the 2 different options. So yeah, Derek, I appreciate if there's others out there who can give some advice, but Astreus, I'd have to sit down and take a look at the 2 and talk to you about what you want to do. Like what Derek is saying, what's your aim? What's your goal? Are you trying to conserve actions? Are you trying to maximize something? There's a lot of variables here to work with. Okay, talk to you later, Victor. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, you know what, Nadpoo, that's an excellent default. What sounds more fun? Yeah, I'll take a familiar, because I want someone to talk to. An arcane eye, you just sort of like do that Undertaker eye roll flutter, and the arcane eye woo goes out and scouts for you. But if you want a familiar that someone you could talk to, bounce ideas off of, and like pet when you're riding in the wagon. All right, so I mean, besides choosing our wizard spells, which, I mean, it could be easily enough done. We have a backstory for her. But, to keep these open for what her cantrips could be, especially because remember, the content we make on the channel, I make available to you at the end of the week on our Discord. So you can download her and play around with this model and have fun yourself and rearrange her spells if you want. So for purposes of what we're doing, I don't want to choose the spells for her, because we've built her. We have a concept. We have a character who has an awesome backstory and is very compelling, I think, in and of herself. Right here we have our first character we generated was Atrabash here. This level. I mean, he's already epic level, right? He's only 102, and he's already an epic level fighter. Then we just made Jarad, this Cleric Tempest, who's a locksmith. And has invented kind of an electromagnetic lock to, account for things that happened in his past. And now we have Mom, right? We have Mom who, got an associate's degree at night school while working to try and support her and her kids that have now grown up, and she's kind of an empty nester at 55, who's going out on an adventure to rescue her employer because she feels a great debt towards him, taking her in and giving her an education. And isn't that interesting, right? So here we have Atrabash the Fighter, Jarad the Storm, Cleric of the Tempest, and Mom. And yeah, Civil Hermit, you do bring up a good choice. You do get a break from those 2 schools every once in a while. Okay, so what we're doing, I think we're going to button her up. I owe Macabre Derek 4 boxes of minis, and I think we should pop those open and see what he pulls.